Have so you never guessed what we just did. We hit 30K! On Insta! I can't believe we've got 30K followers. We had a video, a reel that hit 1 million.
We are just doing milestones at the moment, alhamdulillah.
Should I tell you why this is so surprising to us? Guys, we've literally been doing this since December last year, and we made, yeah, so we made that 30K mark for us was supposed to be well into the future. Like, not in August.
Not in August.
So I'm like shocked, subhanAllah.
Like when we started it, when we properly started our YouTube channel in December, we said that
we were
by
like,
January.
What was it? No, we were
by
like,
the summer. Let's
we said 1
10K.
year. We said 10K, didn't we?
Yeah.
We said
gave
within
ourselves
1 year, we were like, we're gonna get to 10K, and it's just
surpassed it, alhamdulillah. And we've got so many amazing things coming up for you guys. Honestly, that you guys can get involved in. Inshallah, if things work out.
Inshallah.
And it's just gonna be really fun. And we just love you guys. We love the community we made.
We love the energy. We love the comment section. I love the comment section.
The advice you give to these women on top of us. Well, like, who else needs a better sisterhood than that? So guys, now that we've calmed down, we've got another scenario from one of our listeners who wants really good advice from us. So inshallah, we hope that we can give her good advice and you guys can give advice as well in the comment section. So let's take it away. Salam, Kally and Hodo. First and foremost, you girls are beautiful and I absolutely love you guys and what you're doing, so keep it up.
Thank you.
I was hoping for some advice on my situation, which I'm really struggling with. I don't mind if you do a video on this, but just keep me anonymous, which we will, sis. Basically, it's the issue with cultural marriages. I'm Bengali and I want to marry someone that isn't. Of course, we are both practicing Muslims, but he is Pakistani and my parents really have a problem with this. I've done everything, you name it, told numerous times that religiously it is okay, sent them videos from Mufti Menk and others that explain it's fine. I have forced a meetup. He came and told my parents he is a good guy, he will take good care of me, he has a good degree, medicine doctor, he is serious, he's basically begged for my hand and they still flat out refused. He attempted to visit a few more times, but my parents are just not having it. I've tried to get a close relative involved to act as a mediator and support me, but that also didn't go well. I didn't have much support from elders because they believe it's wrong and you should stick with your own. I tried to get my local imam involved, but he doesn't want to get involved, which surprised me and disappointed me. I've told them if I don't marry him, then I'm not marrying anyone else. I will just sit at home. But I can't seem to change their narrow mindset. I genuinely feel so deflated and exhausted. My parents prioritize more about what other people think and their so-called image than their own child's happiness. I feel like my parents think so little of me and try and get me married from someone back home who's basically my cousin. When I said no, their response was they wish they never brought me to the UK, which was when I was 5 months old, and they wish they never educated me so much to the point where I feel like I can do what I want.
What the hell?
I don't understand how they can say that when it's not like they paid for my university degree. They have both taken so much money and savings off me during university, and I've always helped them financially whenever I can, but that's another situation. I genuinely don't understand what I'm doing wrong. My parents would have accepted him if he was Bengali, but just because of his ethnicity they reject him. That's not something I can accept. Anything else I would have. I feel like they won't come around at all, and the only option is to leave my family behind, but I don't want to, and I don't want to leave my siblings at all. Please help.
The first thing I want to say in terms of sort of just reassurance is I don't think this is about you.
No.
The parents have a grievance, clearly, deep-rooted issues with Pakistanis. It's not about you. They just don't want you involved.
I don't think it's Pakistanis. I just think
it is Pakistanis. There is.
Really?
Like, yeah, Bengalis aren't allowed to marry Pakistanis. It happens sometimes, but it's a lot of push. and Paul.
I'm actually pretty shocked that the Imam didn't get involved.
Because the Imam is Bengali. That's why he didn't get involved. Yeah, so I just, you know what, it's a difficult one. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand enough about, because with tribalism, it's like, I get it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think we're educated enough to comment on the beef between Bengalis and Pakistanis. But what I can say as a Muslim, I personally think she should go to a different Imam, a different message where there's no bias.
But then if she was to bring an Imam, the thing is, I don't think she should go to a Bengali Imam or a Pakistani Imam.
No.
It's got to be someone
neutral.
Neutral, exactly.
With a very high level of knowledge. That is who she needs to go to, and to get advice so they can advise their parents, because what they're essentially doing is haram.
Yeah, they're literally blocking their child from having a blessing in their
life. They're also making haram what Allah has made halal, which is all Muslims can get married to each other. It's not a problem. And she's essentially bought a practicing Muslim man. If they're reasoning for not wanting him to get married to her is they feel they've got an advice, or they've got a background check on him, and they feel like he's not good for her, and he's not and they have more knowledge about him than she does, then okay, cool, we can see where that conversation's going. But the initial reasoning being because he is of a different ethnicity, that's why you're not allowed to marry him. It's wrong, it's haram, they're committing a sin, and they really need to backtrack, because it's not what her parents need to be reminded of. And if they're not listening to her, because I understand they're not going to take that from her, but they might take it from someone of high authority within Islamic, you know, masjids, if that makes sense. And if they didn't do it that way, then I personally think, I know this is really bad and you're not following, and you know, you're not listening to your parents, but is it haram if she continues to get married? But
no, she can't continue to get married. Like, the thing is, at the end of the day,
her whole family.
Yeah, at the end of the day, she's got to weigh up whether or not is it her family or is it this boy.
And the other thing is, honestly, you don't know the power of dua. Like, if you continuously pray tahajjud and Allah to change their hearts, it will happen.
Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I've seen situations where this is like the girl just didn't back down. She was like, you know what, this is the person that I want. If you say no, I think she was like she lost like a lot of weight, like physically it affected her, and mentally it really affected her as well. I'm not saying put yourself through, like, I think you have to stay rigid on this, because that's the only way that they'll listen.
And I also think, if you're obviously staying firm like Kulthum said, but why don't you invite the family to come to the house, so that at least they can see what sort of family he's from. Yeah, the families can mingle. Do you know what I mean? They can't refuse that. They're not going to be borderline rude to his face and his family's face.
No, I don't think her family are going to be that disrespectful.
That's what I'm saying. I think the families should meet, they should mingle, they should see what type of people they are, and that might change their mind. If this is the path for you, then Allah will make it happen. And if it's not, then you know what? If it doesn't work out with this guy, that's fine. But inshallah, you will meet someone.
I think the biggest takeaway from this scenario for me is that I don't think the parents care about the religion at all in this. This is about how they're viewed in the wider community. This is about image gang, and it's about basically I don't want my daughter to be known as having married a Pakistani man to other Bengalis, because I told you, this is like the Bridgerton. This is Lady Whistledown. I don't know if she comes from like a small town or whatever, but usually within these sorts of situations, Bengali families all know each other and they all natter, they all recommend boys to each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think they don't care about religion. So I don't know if bringing a neutral imam is going to make them change their mind, when all they have in their head is my standing in this community, my status. Do you know what I mean?
But it's better than just sitting there and not really doing anything. I feel
no,
like that
I think you can try.
I think she should try it.
I think you can try, and I think it would be positive for you in terms of using that as a way to potentially try and change their mind. But if they were to turn around and say no after that, like, you know, these parents are literally out for, like, I don't want to say themselves, but that's what it is. It's for selfish reasons. They don't care about, like, their
So what's
their
your
daughter.
ultimatum?
My ultimatum is something needs to be done about this community. Do you know what I mean, girls? Like,
but it's not just, I feel like
the thing is, like, obviously, like, to check, like, even the Prophet ﷺ said that you should always start to change the conditions of people in your house first, and then move on to the community, and then the wider group. Do you know what I mean? I just think that she needs to try and change the minds of her parents within the household, and then after that, there just needs to be some serious work done in this community about, like, blocking blessings for sisters because they're not happy with the spouses due to his because he's Pakistani. Like, I feel sorry for these Pakistani brothers. I feel sorry for them.
I feel like a lot of ethnicities do this. I feel like a lot of people want to marry their own, but we need to think wider and think from the perspective of we're not governed by culture, we're governed by the religion that we follow, and that's not what the Prophet practiced.
And that's not what people do.
But the thing is, we can't just leave it alone and say we need to change things in the house. I get that, but she needs to actively do things to slowly change.
I'm not saying that she shouldn't. I'm not saying that she shouldn't. I'm saying she should go and try it. I'm saying she should try and change her family's mind, but I'm also saying that she needs to be realistic. There's a massive likelihood that they're going to continue to say no.
And the more she's patient and she's persistent, I think they might say yes.
Inshallah.
Do you know what I mean? They might say yes. But it's about it. The only being that can change their mind is Allah. I'll be honest with you. The only thing that can change their mind is Allah. And all she can do is make consistent dua, be consistent and fierce in what she wants. If this is the person she wants, then she needs to stay out that road. And she needs to continue to change their minds, continue to change their ideas about what they feel like.
This could potentially take years. You know what it is? I feel like I need a bit of a lesson in just how this, like, grievance came about, because I don't quite understand it. I think it might be to do with the civil war and the divide in the two countries. Maybe that a lot of people died on either side. You know what I mean? Same with Somalia. Things happened in the past. However, they shouldn't affect how, like, you shouldn't be deflecting this trauma onto the kids.
No.
It's not fair.
And if this is a good, like, standing Muslim man who works and wants to provide and wants to live a good life with your daughter, I don't know why you're standing, like,
in the way of
that.
Like, imagine they stood in the way and then the daughter just decided, like, I'm not saying you would ever do this, but in general, if someone stood in the way of you getting married and then said no, and then you decide, you know what, F this, I'm gonna go out and just do whatever the hell I want. You could potentially cause your child to go and commit further sin, because marriage is supposed to protect you from bad things.
And just the mental trauma alone, and the anxiety and the low mood and the depression that's just gonna come from what they're causing. It's just so much.
It's not nice.
It's so much sin on them that I just don't understand why would they put other people's opinions over their children. It's mad.
Why would you put your child, imagine seeing your kid moping around the house,
depressed,
sad, crying. Like, how could you even do that?
We actually need to do a seminar or a workshop for these parents, because it's too much.
It's too much.
And I feel like Muslim clergy,
they need to get involved.
They really need to get involved, and they need to be
How can you go to an imam and the imam says, I'm not getting involved?
What are you talking about?
They need to get
source
involved.
of information.
You're the person people come to for support in situations like this, and you're turning them away. You're saying you don't want to get involved because of your own bias.
No, I genuinely believe she needs to get other imams involved who will really support her in this matter, and she needs to blow it up.
But in terms of, like, the community building that you were talking about, there really needs to be like Bengali clergy, like Bengali community members and Pakistani community members really need to come, sit down, because we don't live in Bangladesh, we don't live in Bangladesh and Pakistan, we live in the UK. Like, we can't let the problems of over there affect us here.
No. It's the same with Somali parents who do the same thing.
Yeah.
How many scenarios have we had with similar situations?
So they really need to come together and do a, what's it called, reconciliation. There needs to be reconciliation. There needs to be, like...
And they need to try and change their mindset. You can't be this narrow-minded in 2022.
No.
It's mad. And it's detrimental to your children, to your lives.
Something's got to give.
Yeah. And parents need to stop treating adult children like doormats. Like, we've got opinions, we've got our own stance and views of what we want to do with our lives. She's coming to you out of like sheer goodwill to say, Mum and Dad, like, this is what I want, please could you help me facilitate this? And you're just shutting the door, and you're shunning her.
This is not a good example that you're setting.
No.
So I just think parents need to do better for their children.
Honestly.
On that lovely note, guys, we're gonna have to park the video here because our battery's gonna die. But I really hope this helped. If you again, I invite people to comment below what would
if this situation's happened to you.
How like, have there been any success stories? How can you help this sister in this scenario? Yeah, so please comment below.
And there are success stories. I've just thought of one now.
There's loads of I know loads of sisters that I've like pulled through.
I've just remembered one now, and she's living a good life with that man. So inshallah, just persevere and push through. And if this is the road that you want to be on, then you just need to make dua and be consistent. Yeah. So again, that's all for now, I guess. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week, inshallah. And if you're watching this, let us know what happens, inshallah.
Bye.